Hello and welcome to another episode of It's a Long Road, the Rambo Series podcast. And this episode is Rambo First Blood Part 2. Nothing is over, Episode 2. These titles are getting longer and longer and more ridiculous as the show continues, but I don't think the show is getting more ridiculous. I have with me today a very special guest, Peter from the land down under, I believe is what they say. Peter, how you doing?
Great, Ryan. Thanks. Really appreciate you giving me this opportunity. Like I said, I've been listening to your podcast for over 8 years, going way back to when you and is it your younger brother Ruben were doing Go the Distance? Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's crazy. You okay? So you are like one of the OG listeners because I've had a few guest co-hosts come on who have listened either just to the Rambo or whatever it is, but you have been there since the beginning of time. How did you discover that Going the Distance with me and Ruben? How did you discover that one?
Yeah, I was just through Apple Podcasts because I just do, you searched Rocky or Rambo, and I found Mike Kunder, of course. I found Slycast with Craig Cohen and all that, and then I found you guys. And I've got to be honest, I think you and Ruben, kind of the more down-to-earth, humble, just giving your straight opinion, whereas, dare I say, Mike Kunder's a little bit more sort of measured because he's on dial time with Sly and all that, and yeah, so
yeah, he's the measure of a man. He's an interesting character. I won't say anything. What can I say that's derogatory about Mike? Oh, he's great. He's great.
Rocky too.
Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate that, Peter. And yeah, you have nothing to be nervous about. You're one of the few, well, more than a few now. When I've done this reboot of the Rambo franchise or the Rambo podcast, you're a first timer. There's been a few of you have come on for the first time, and I have no doubt that you'll do very well for your first time on the mic. If I can do it, anyone can do it. I assure you. I'm a ham and egger. As you know, forever the ham and egger. Okay.
Yeah.
So before we get started, of course, before we get into the trivia, the meat of the show, I want to hear what's your overall fandom of Sly and then of the Rambo franchise, and then, of course, Rambo First Blood Part 2.
I'm 47 now, so I think I'm a few years younger than you. Back in the 80s, either you were Team Sly or Team Schwarzenegger. And although I enjoyed Schwarzenegger films, look, Sly for me was the tortured artist, the renegade individual in a lot of his films, especially in Rambo. So I first discovered Rambo in 1988 via VHS. Dad brought it home. And I believe I saw First Blood first. So I saw them like you in chronological order. And I've got to admit, I wanted to be on your First Blood show because I feel like I know that film best. So I may struggle today with First Blood Part 2. It's interesting, the other titles. The original title was First Blood Part 2, The Mission. That was James Cameron's.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm sure you know all the trivia and all that. And
I'd forgotten that. I'm sure I'd read that, but if I could retain everything I've ever read, that'd be amazing. So by all means, trivia away on me. Yeah, please.
No, that's interesting. I remember last week in your podcast, you said you've seen these films hundreds of times, but still you have that sort of Mandela effect. You can't quite remember precisely. Yeah. So, and like you, I saw Rambo 3 theatrically in May 1988. That was the most expensive film ever made at the time. That was just all enthralling for me as a 10-year-old. So for me, Stallone is a very special person. He's sort of obviously quite self-made, and his sense of perseverance and through all the tribulations of his life. And I'm a little bit of a fitness guru myself, so I've always garnered inspiration from his weightlifting regimen and all that. Yeah, he was trained by Arnold Schwarzenegger's best friend, Franco Columbu, for at least 6 months in 1984. Yeah, to get ready for this film.
What do you do for fitness? Are you just something you do on the side, or do you have a job for it, or?
Oh, no, I'm a secondary teacher in Australia, but since I was 18, I've been weightlifting. Like Big Guns Doug, I'm the same age. So, I resonate with Big Guns Doug quite a lot. And,
he's a big boy, that guy. He's a big boy.
Not quite that big, but sort of scrutinising Stallone's fitness regimen over the years has been very inspiring. And all the tribulations what he's gone throughout his whole life, the nadir of his career between 1998 and, 2005, and how he's made the comeback. And I think I was always Team Sly because he was that sort of tortured artist. Like what you and your other guest said, his highs are very high and his lows are very low.
He's got some fantastic lows. I love it. And
Yeah.
at the time of this recording, it's not released yet, but myself, Craig, and Doug, we did our review of Alarum, the movie Alarum. It's the straight to video. It's fantastic. It was a fantastic recording. So look forward to that drop, folks.
I just really look forward towards that 3 podcasters reviews of all those dumpsters.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun to do. Craig and Doug, they're great guys, and look forward to that, folks. Okay. Shoot, what was it? Oh, I was going to make a joke. You're big and strong, so you can kick the shite out of your students. What age do you teach?
Secondary is between 12 and 18, so yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You can beat up some 18-year-olds. That's legal. They're adults.
No, like Stallone, I'm only 5'7", so a lot of them.
That's funny. Is that what it is? If people are a little bit shorter, they got to get muscles to make up for it? Is that how that works?
Yeah, statistically, most bodybuilders are only about 5'8". Yeah.
Really? There is something to that, maybe. Maybe there is something to that. Yeah. See, I'm 6 feet, so I never thought of lifting weights. I always had my height as an advantage. I dabbled as a teen with weights. I'm a jogger by nature. That's what I do. So I do stay in shape for an old man. I do run quite regularly. That's my thing. I try to eat healthy, but no, it's great that you do weights. That's great. Yeah, don't worry about the trivia or how well you do. I did get 8 out of 10 last episode. I'm actually surprised by that. But the idea of the trivia is to have fun and to try to beat me, which is fine. But the idea is also it gives us a chance to talk about the films. Whatever question comes up, we talk about the scene and what it means to us. And so it's just geek talk at the very least. We'll get to talk about the scene. So do you have a pen and paper ready?
Oh, that's the one thing I don't have. I'll just be very quick.
Yeah, go get it. Okay. You're a teacher. You got to always be prepared with a pen and pencil. I guess you've given tests and quizzes as a teacher, right?
Not often. Now I teach predominantly visual arts. So, yeah, it's a hands-on practical subject.
Oh, visual arts. Okay. Like movies or videos? We're talking about painting,
sort
drawing?
of tactile, painting, sculpting. Yeah, more tactile visual arts. Yeah.
Do you do nude models? You ever get a nude model come in there?
No.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do the nude model. That'd be so weird to stand there or sit there and having people stencil and draw you. I don't know if I could draw anyone either. Yeah, anyways, stupid joke. Let's get going here. I'm excited. All right, here we go. What is Murdoch's response when Troutman asks to go out with the extraction team? So what is Murdoch's response when Troutman asks to go out with the extraction team?
Yep.
Okay. It's funny. Rocco, who did this book, his dad is EM King on the socials, and he got mad at me on YouTube, said that I helped the last host too much. It's the Canadian in me. You know what I mean? Apparently, I gave too many hints. But I would like to say, so are we saying that Troutman has asked Murdoch to be a part of the extraction team, and Murdoch has given him an answer to that request? Is that how we're reading this question?
I remember the scene only. I vividly remember the scene.
What was Murdoch's response when Troutman asked? So Troutman says, "Hey, can I go on there?" Oh, extraction team. This is to get Rambo. He's caught.
I believe I know the quote.
But am I right in saying that this is Troutman asking to get Rambo? So I guess that's what I was confused about. Who's being distracted, the POWs and Rambo, or just the POWs?
So they're all in a helicopter. They're hovering over that scene in the marshes, and Rambo's with the one POW.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the scene, though. See, I wonder if that's the scene. Because Murdoch's response when Troutman asked to go out with... Rocco, I love you, brother. I have an answer to the request at the very least, because we know what happens. But it's just... I'm confused what part of the film this is in, that's all.
You've got those 3 characters in the helicopter. You've got Richard Crenna, you've got Martin Cove, the pilot in the helicopter, Erickson, I think his name is, and then you had the other guy with the aviator son is pointing the revolver at Troutman. Yeah.
So you're going with that's the scene that Rocco's talking about.
Yeah, and then Troutman, I think he goes, "You son of a bitch." I think it's that
Crenna's
scene.
so good. Crenna's so good in that scene.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go with that. I think we're going to go with that scene. I have an answer. So regardless, even if I have the wrong scene, I have an answer.
Yeah.
All right, this one's a little bit more straightforward. True or false? Rambo wears Cole's necklace after she's killed. I wonder. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, we both have the answer, but I'll just say that I got something to say about that scene. But by talking about the scene, I'm going to give away our answer. I don't want Rocco's dad to get mad at me again. Okay.
Yeah.
What does Rambo think the best weapon is? What does Rambo think the best weapon is?
Oh, yeah. When I watched that film, I could never understood what he was saying without subtitles.
Don't give me the answer.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. They're talking about. It's the scene where they're getting a tour of the future of military warfare,
Yes.
and Rambo's like, blah 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 is always the best weapon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully I didn't give away too much, but yeah, it's just the
No,
fanboy.
that's fine. Again, we're not giving away the answers. I'm just trying to help set the scene. I think it's fair if we get at least get the scene that we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
How many hours does Rambo have to get in and out of Vietnam? Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I might have.
I have a guess. I'm going to guess. So again, it's whoever gets closest. It's okay if you go over.
They actually tell you in the scene, Murdoch tells Troutman in the scene, just as Rambo leaves in the plane on the runway. I think it was the scene where Murdoch says, "You think you'll find any POWs? Doubtful. I'm just here to clean up the mess."
That's right.
Yeah, I think it's that scene, yeah.
I think so, yeah. Where does Troutman tell Rambo to go if he runs into trouble in Vietnam? Where does Troutman tell Rambo to go if he runs into trouble in Vietnam? Oh my gosh. I'm going to do horrible in this one. I got 8 out of 10 on episode 1. I think I might get 3 out of 10 on this one.
And he tells him on the runway, like it's that same scene. He tells him on the runway, but I can't remember.
Probably, I'm going to guess something and something, but it's not a cheat.
Yeah.
Okay. True or false? Banks is wearing a sad face badge on his chest. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I vividly remember that. That's Martin Cove, the actor, yeah. Always found that story.
Oh, this is 50-50, Ryan.
Yeah.
50-50. So basically, the question basically is this face smiling or is it happy?
Banks, I thought his name was Erickson. But
no, Banks, I think Banks is the guy with the glasses, I think.
Oh, did you say sad face badge? Because that's definitely Martin Cove. I vividly remember that. And not,
okay. All right. What is the name of Erickson's plane?
Oh, it's difficult.
Okay, I'm going to guess a name. True or false? Rambo's name was chosen as one of 4 suitable candidates for the mission.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I got this one.
Troutman tells him that at the quarry.
Yeah. And lastly, how many years does Rambo have left on his pension? That's what I have left. I've got 3 years left in my time I can retire. How many years does Rambo have left on his prison sentence?
Oh, that's interesting. I'll guess that.
I think my number might be his total time, but if I've got a number again, closest to.
Yeah.
Now, here we go. So here's the first one. What is Murdoch's response when Troutman asks to go out with the extraction team?
Yeah, I thought he said, "I want you to abort."
See, it's the scene where he says denied.
Further report. I want to go out with the extraction team at dawn.
Denied.
Denied.
It's an unnecessary risk.
Remember, Murdoch goes denied. And I think that was the initial scene. So I wrote no.
Oh,
I didn't say the word denied. I'll leave it up to the judges. What do you think?
I just thought it was that scene where the helicopter was hovering over the Vietnamese rice field and Rambo and the POW just below them. Yeah, I just remember Charles Napier's words, "I want you to abort." But anyway.
No, I think that's what I mean. This is why this one was confusing. So I know exactly, of course, the scene you're talking about, but I think the conversation, and when I do the edit, I always insert the scene from the film. I believe it's at the beginning. I think Rambo's caught, so he's not back. And I think the initial response was denied, but I think even though Troutman ends up going anyways. So I remember the sound of Murdoch saying, I can hear the voice denied.
Yeah.
When the initial request, and then it says something about going over his head or something like that. So anyways, the point being, it wasn't the helicopter scene. It was before he got up in the air. There is a scene.
Okay.
Will you allow me to have the word no, or do you want? Okay.
Oh, I mean, no, you're the
I declare I'm right. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's the exact quote, was denied, but he didn't ask for the exact quote. Rocco asked for, what was his response? Yeah. No, denied. Okay. Okay, this one you should get, Peter. Rambo wears Cole's necklace after she gets killed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you remember that scene when he gears up? Yeah. You see his back double biceps lat pose. So it's true.
It's true, absolutely true.
Yeah.
I love how he wears the necklace, but he refuses to get like extra line. It's on his neck so tight.
Yeah.
It's to showcase that Sly. Look how big and thick my neck. Heaven forbid Sly has a necklace that might hang down a little bit. He has to showcase to the audience how thick and strong his neck is compared to a woman's. It's like, why strangle yourself around your neck? What would you wear a necklace like that?
No, I always assumed because she was so slender, Julie Nixon, that the necklace would have been tied on him. Yeah.
He took the actual necklace from Coe's neck, yes, as is. But I always just love the idea that he didn't like fashion some sort of strap or some sort of twine or something different than the actual. He kept the original. I know, to showcase. So look how thick my neck is, because it hung loosely around Coe's neck, but around my neck, it's tight. It always looked funny to me, even as a kid. I'll accept two different answers on this next one.
Yeah.
What does Rambo think the best weapon is?
All right, I vividly remember. I always thought the mime was the best weapon. Then, Marshall Murdoch goes, times changed. And then Stallone quips, for some people.
Because we have the most advanced weapons in the world available to us.
I've always believed that the mind is the best weapon.
Times change.
For some people.
For some people, that's right.
Yeah.
And absolutely right. Yeah, it's the mind. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
There you go. You're doing fine. You're doing good. This one's going to be interesting. How many hours does Rambo have to get in and out of Vietnam?
For some reason in my mind, 22 hours. I could have chosen 24 hours, but I'm just saying 22.
22, sure. I said 36.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 36.
You've got 36 hours to get the hell in and out. So don't stop and smell the roses, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, well done.
Wow. On the nose. A day and a half. Yeah, that's why I thought. I don't remember it being. No, I got it right, so I'm not gonna. I got to question why. Maybe it's the military in me. I was like, yeah, it's a day and a half. You got one night, a full day. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Where does Troutman tell Rambo to go if he runs into trouble in Vietnam? Now, this one I totally guessed. What was your answer?
Yeah, I remember the scene where it says there's no time to smell the roses. I mean, some hill, but that's my guess, just some hill.
Oh, a hill. Okay. I just said Bragg, USA Bragg, but that's probably right. Oh, you're right. Oh.
Run into any trouble, try to get to the hilltop extraction site marked on your map.
Yeah. Okay. You get that one for sure.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, thanks.
Because you said the hilltop extraction site. You said hill.
There's no specific name for it or something? Or
it just says hilltop, the hilltop extraction site. So there you go.
I'll just write literally hill, yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
True or false, Banks, if this one's tricky, it's 50-50. Banks is wearing a sad face badge on his chest.
Yeah.
True or false?
Okay. Now, dare I say, I think Rocco's wrong here. It's true because it's Martin Cove is wearing that badge. I'm pretty sure his name is Erickson.
Okay, so you're right. That's the teacher in you. You're absolutely right. In that, yeah, I was focusing on the badge being smiley or sad. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You were right by saying that it wasn't Banks. He was going for it was the wrong person. It was Erickson.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. That's very tricky.
As a teacher, do you think that's a fair way to ask the question?
Oh, I haven't thought about it, to be honest. All I know is in my mind, I thought, no, that's not Banks, that's Erickson.
I was focusing on whether or not the badge was upside down as a smiley or a sad face. And he was focusing on, no, it was Erickson, so it's false. So you got it right. You said Erickson. Yeah. So there you go. So Rocco got me with the wording on that. Not that he was trying to trick me, but I was just... He was asking which character was wearing it. Good job. Okay. Yeah. What is the name of Erickson's plane? Did you even just guess a name? Anything will do.
I wonder in the movie if it's sort of, on the side of the plane or the technical name of the plane. So, no, unfortunately, no.
Do you have any guess? Give me something.
I just can't even guess. There must be some technical name for it, but I'll forget. Yeah, it's a very special...
Oh, I like the idea that you went technical. I'll give it to you if it's a technical name. I'll give it to you because I just put Birdie.
Oh, okay. There's a very special type of aircraft. I was reading an IMBD the other day. Yeah, I can't remember, unfortunately. Yeah.
Dragonfly 1.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Dragonfly 1, yeah. Yeah.
I was close. Birdie's a flying.
Yeah.
The judge will not give me a point for that one. All right. Rambo's name, true or false? Rambo's name was chosen as one of the 4 suitable candidates for the mission.
Yeah, so I just said yes because that's what I remember.
Is that your final answer? So
Yes.
I think Rocco got us again here. Check it out. I haven't looked at the answer yet. To be honest with you, I haven't looked at the answer yet. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Because remember on the previous one where Rocco's like, "Who's wearing the badge?" Banks, and I was focused on the badge being upside down or not. I think he's focusing on here that yes, Rambo was selected from the computer, but it's the number of people he's asking. So he's saying, is it 4 or is it not 4?
No, I believe it's only 4.
Okay, so you're going with. I wanted to give you an out. So you're saying 4. I think it's 3 names were chosen. So the answer is 3.
The covert operations being geared up in the Far East. Your name was dug out by the computer as one of 3 most able to complete the mission.
Yes.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. This is actually a legit scene. I always found this scene actually legit kind of interesting where Troutman is saying the computer. I just love the idea. This is the 80s, of course. Computers are sort of kind of popping up and at work, and the government has a computer. I just love the idea that this computer has the technology to filter through some sort of records, because we know how the internet works today, but it's, I can search, give me 10 recipes, and it gives me 10 recipes. Give me 10 recipes without the sugar. It gives me. But I love how in 1984 or 5, they had a computer that somehow scoured the U.S. military data banks, and they put in the factor of, okay, we need people who can go to Vietnam, who know the area, who are good weapon experts, who have nothing to lose, or what were their search parameters to get not just Rambo's name, but 2 other guys? And I've always been curious, who are the 2 other guys that came up?
Yeah, as you know, in the novelization, Rambo escaped from that camp in 1971.
Yeah,
that's why Troutman elaborates. No one knows the area like you. Yeah,
I'm always curious as to, a computer can only give you, the user, information that it has and what you ask of it. So I just want to know what were they typing into this brain computer of, we need to know who's best for this mission. Like, how did they ask the questions to this 1985 computer back in the day? It's just,
I have no idea about computers back then, but it was filmed in 1984, so that would have been the same year that Steve Jobs would have been released the first Apple computer and all that. So
I'm going to ask this question to Grok. Let's see what it says. They were able to do this in 1984. I'm going to be curious to see what Grok says. Okay, here we go. So you're going to hear me ask the question, and it's going to read it back to me.
Yeah.
So Grok, I have a question for you. In 1984, in the film Rambo: First Blood Part 2, Troutman told Rambo that he was one of 3 names that came up in the computer to do a mission of rescuing POWs in Vietnam. What possible technology do computers have at that time to give that kind of information? Like, what did the user put into the computer, and how would computers back in that day be able to suss out that this could happen?
All right, let's dive into the tech of 1984 and how a computer might have picked Rambo for that POW rescue mission in Rambo: First Blood Part 2. You asked about the tech in 1984 that could have let a computer in Rambo: First Blood Part 2 pick Rambo as one of 3 names for a POW rescue mission in Vietnam. What kind of tech computers had, what data users might have input, and how those systems could figure out who'd be a good fit.
In the context of the film, the user probably input mission-specific criteria such as skills and expertise, physical and psychological profile, availability, past performance, clearance level. That's fair. So how did the computer suss it out, is what I asked. The military likely maintained detailed personnel files in the database, including training records, mission histories, evaluations. Rambo's file would have highlighted his Green Beret background, Vietnam service, and exceptional combat skills, matching algorithm, ranking. In reality, 1984 computers could handle this kind of database query, especially for a military with access to advanced systems. However, the film takes some liberties: speed and simplicity, data quality, human input. Conclusion: the tech in Rambo: First Blood Part 2 is plausible for 1984. A military database queried with specific criteria like combat experience and special forces training could realistically identify someone like Rambo. The user would input mission requirements, and the computer would filter personnel records to output the top matches. There you go. All right. So I guess they did have the tech back then. That was my long way of getting there.
Never really gave it any thought. when watching the film back then, is sort of the dichotomy between all those Murdoch's computer labs and
that was the whole thing of that film, was the idea of this is future warfare. And it's funny because I am in the military right now. Like, I'm in the Navy, but I do deal with, of course, computers. I mean, it's crazy now in 2025. Quite frankly, Rambo would be blown away of just how much of warfare is just computers today. Like, from drone strikes to missile strikes to obviously GPS and all this stuff. So I get Rambo says the mind, and he's right in the sense it's garbage in, garbage out. So you can have the best computers in the world, but the operators don't know what they're doing or what they're inputting. It's garbage in, garbage out. I'm sorry, John Rambo. It's all computers today. If your army doesn't have computer access, now you could argue if you take out that computer access, then you're going back to the Rambo days. I get it. That's the whole idea. It's just funny that this is the 80s, the idea that computers are becoming, household items. This is the Rambo message of don't lose sight of your warrior ability. Don't rely on computers to do your work, is the whole idea.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, a lot to think about there. As you're talking, I was thinking about James Cameron too, because if he would have scripted Rambo 2, the correlation between Terminator 1 and Rambo 2 with the advent of computers and all that.
He was big on that. That's James Cameron. And there's 3 different writers on this film, like you're saying. There was, of course, James Cameron's. He was the computer guy. That was his thing, obviously, back then. He just finished doing Terminator before writing this film, or his inputs in this film. I believe he had Rambo have a male sidekick, and it was going to be John Travolta.
I heard about that. Didn't you interview David Morrell about that, the novelization of Rambo 2?
Yeah, I don't remember what we talked about, to be honest with you, regarding the casting choices. But yeah, if you haven't, folks, go check out the first episode of this whole feed. If you're on the Rambo standalone feed, I interviewed David Morrell. Just Google, what would you Google? Search for It's a Long Road, the Rambo Series podcast, David Morrell interview. Yeah, that was fantastic to talk to David about that. Yeah, what did he say though? He said he used 2 different things. James Cameron's script, Sly's script. Oh, and then his own. Then it was his own. That was how he did the novel. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking the novelization of Rambo 2, I think, like David Morrell, through your interview, what I extracted from the interview was David Morrell. Back then in the 80s, you'd have a novelization of a film before the film came out. So I'm just wondering whether the novelization was written before the film was made. Yeah, I just can't remember.
I was big into reading novelizations of films, and I used to do that all the time. So what they would do is the movie studio, or whoever they are, they would give access to the author, the movie script, essentially, the shooting script. So they could write a novel even probably during filming. So that's why there's a lot of things in a novel that aren't in the actual film, because they have access to things that maybe the director didn't film or scenes were cut out, things like that. But I used to read books all the time before the movie came out. One of the famous ones I did was Tim Burton's Batman in '89. I read the novel before the movie came out. So I felt like it was like a cheat code, because I felt like I was reading the movie script. So even before the movie was released, it's like, I know what's going to happen in this movie. But I actually kind of like doing it like that. I didn't think I was spoiling it. For me, it was just kind of like I got to see the movie first. So I would read books all the time before movies came out.
I've got to ask you, have you read the novelizations of all 3 Rambos?
Yeah, it's been a couple of years, but when I started this podcast, I did that right away. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I find them far more realistic and substantive than the films. The films almost look a bit cartoonish compared to the novelizations. Yeah,
definitely. You get inside the thoughts of Rambo. That's a big thing too, right? You get his thoughts. We talked about, especially the first book, you see just how much both, like in the first novel, the original novel before it became a Hollywood film, Rambo is not I would say he's a very troubled person. He isn't, quote unquote, the good guy. Like both him and Teasel are just as equally sort of at fault with each other.
Yeah. And you get some insight into Will Teasel being from the Korean veteran. I never knew that watching the film.
It's subtly there. It's one of those things too where when you know the book, you can see it that they put it in the film, but it's not explicitly said. Like, I fought in the Korean War. Do you think you Vietnam kids? I kind of wish they did. I don't know why that would have taken an extra. I just did it there in 5 seconds, and I'm not even a dialogue writer. But just something to where Teasel could have said, you walking around with that jacket from that war that was a corrupt war. The last good war was one I fought in, the Korean War. You kids didn't fight the clean war like I did in the Korean War. Like some sort of, that's why he's all bent out of shape. He's a Korean veteran.
And I have to give credit to you through your sort of the longevity of your podcasts. I listen to you dissect and even pontificate possible scenarios, alternative scenarios. So through listening to your podcast, I've been able to discern that detail in Will Sheriff's office that he was a Korean veteran.
I think there's medals in his desk or something. I can't remember where it was, but there's definitely military insignia or something somewhere that he is a service member. Yeah. All right. Awesome discussion. I love it. Next question. And you know what? I forgot to ask you a question, so we'll answer right on the fly. We only did 9 questions. How many years? This is a big one. How many years does Rambo have left on his prison sentence?
Okay. I believe he only has 2 years remaining because I thought it was a 5-year sentence.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was a 5-year sentence. So if he was captured in 82 and he's released in 85, my answer is he has another 2 years remaining.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, I think you're going to win. I said 10 years remaining.
Oh, yeah.
And you said 2, but the answer is 5, so you're closest.
John, I told you that I'd help you when I could. You interested? You can't possibly want to stay here for another 5 years.
Congratulations.
Oh, okay, another 5 years remaining. I mean, I wonder if it's within the dialogue of the film. I can't remember it.
Okay, and the last question we'll answer it right away because I forgot to ask it. But it's the last question. How does Rambo successfully kill his first enemy in Vietnam? Okay, I have an answer. Do you have yours?
I believe it's just an arrow to the head. And it goes...
Was that the first kill? Was the arrow to the head kill? See, I'm going with knife to the chest.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure it's like an arrow to the head and it goes even into the tree.
Yeah, I remember that kill. I still remember if it was the first one or not. So here we go with the answer. He throws his knife into the guard's chest.
Don't dig.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Now, the only reason why I don't think it was the arrow to the head is because it's such a memorable kill. I just, as a movie creator, I don't see myself doing that for the first kill. There's something you kind of build up to. Because I think he saves Ko or something.
Oh, does he release the first POW? And then he says something in Vietnamese like Dante or something. Then he throws the knife through the heart.
Yeah, there you go. I forgot about the Vietnamese. You're right. He says something. But with the arrow through the head scene, that I think the guy was about to kill Ko, and that's why that scene was so...
100%, you're right. Now I remember,
Yeah, that's why that scene was so much more memorable because it was like, not only did he save Ko from being killed, it was a classic arrow through the... And I remember being a kid, like, how do they do that? That's so brutal. It's so amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so what's your score, brother?
Oh, okay. 4 out of 10. I'm not surprised.
Did you have fun?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's. I'm still a bit nervous, of course, because it's the first podcast I've done, and I'm a great fan of your show, so I don't want to disappoint. But
well, it's too late for that. I'm sorry. All my co-hosts are a disappointment. No, I'm just joking. No, you're doing great. You know who you look like? It just hit me who you look like right there. Dennis Quaid. Have you ever been told that?
Dennis Quaid? No, I've been told Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh, I can see Kiefer.
Oh, okay.
Both are very handsome. Both are very handsome men. So there's no shame in either one of them.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below, folks. Does Peter look more like Dennis or Kiefer? Let me know. But yeah, you did great, and there's no need to be nervous. Trust me, you did fantastic, and I appreciate again your support. You listen to my shows, which is very flattering that anyone does, and I'm always honored that people listen and take a little time out of their day and have a smile or chuckle or what have you. And yeah, is there anything that you want to share or plug or anything, any shout outs you want to give?
No, just to all your co-hosts, Katie, Kyle, Dom, Big Guns, Doug, Craig. Just really enjoy, the camaraderie, and like we're all sort of a similar generation, and it's just wonderful listening to you all sharing anecdotes of your childhood, and really resonates with me, listening to your stories growing up and all that. So it's something very, for me, it's very endearing to.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's very sweet of you, and I do appreciate that. And Kyle never listens to the show, so he won't hear this. I'll have to tell him personally, but I know Doug and Katie listen. And Craig never listens either. Craig never listens. Kyle never listens. But Katie and Doug always listen. But I'll let the other two know that you said that, and it's very sweet of you, and I know they'll appreciate that. All right, so Peter, again, thank you so much for coming on. You were my first Australian co-host, and I appreciate, I've always said this about Australia. After the US, it's the UK for listenership. But then right after the UK, it's Australia. I've always had a great fan base in Australia, so thank you for representing Australia. But unfortunately, Peter, this episode is over.
Well, nothing is over. Nothing. Just don't turn it off. Wasn't my war. You asked me, I didn't ask you. I'll go out there to win, but someone wouldn't let us win. Now I'll come back to the world. I see all those maggots at the airport, protesting and spitting. Call me baby killer, all kinds of vile crap. Who are they to protest me, huh? Who are they? Listen, beat me and been there, know what the hell they're yelling about.